Good morning. Welcome back to the morning Qi Gong, produced by the Levy Tai Chi School, hosted by myself, Lao Shi Paul Nettles. It is Sunday. I think it's the 20th. I haven't looked at the date recently. I probably should. I'm getting a little unstuck in time here. This morning, I think we're going to begin a regular thing. We've already begun the regular thing. I think we're going to make this a regular thing on Sundays, where we do a deep dive. I don't want to call it a master class. I don't care for that term necessarily. It implies that there is some sort of point you reach in Qigong where you can't learn anymore, that you've reached the pinnacle. This is not a goal thing. We've said before, this is an ongoing, lifelong engagement. So we're going to call it a deep dive. We're going to look very carefully at some of the aspects of the posture, some of the things you pick up as an advanced student, and some of the things that sometimes you need to be shown. No shame in that. So owl gazes backwards is the second posture in the form we play in the Eight Silken Changes, the Baduan Jin. And on the surface, you can see, I'm certain, it is a simple posture, but it is a stretcher. It is a back stretcher. We've said before in class many times that lower back problems, lower back pain is like one of the number one or one of the highest occurring injuries and problems in the West. We work in offices, we sit a lot, we don't strengthen our back a lot of different ways, we don't stretch our back a lot of different ways, so we end up with a lot of injuries in our lower back. I am no exception. I've mentioned before as well, I have a bulging L3 and L4 lumbar discs, and that causes me pain a lot, often, has for a very long time now. This posture on the surface again is very good for the back because it is a very gentle, slow twisting motion, left to right, right to left, and we are limbering up the spine. And in the postures, in the form, that's a warm-up because not only, of course, are you doing your spine, you're doing every joint that can be twisted gently in the body, everything from ankles up, everything that you'll engage in the form as you go on with the form. So this is a stretch, and as such, you have to be careful. You've really got to watch with this posture. What I tell people, especially my beginners, and it bears repeating, is that when you do this, you've got to be very aware of your body. Listen to your body's signals. Listen to those little warning signs of impending injury or impending pain. It is very inclusive. It's very thorough. So be very aware of what your system is telling you as you go through the posture. The movement itself, you know, is very easy. I'm just going to back up just a little bit so you can hear me good. You're going to stand, of course, nice and straight out into your shoulder stance, your shoulder width stance. Hands behind the back. And as we've said before in the beginner classes, we're going to bend everything. Everything twists from the ankles all the way up. So again, as you do this, pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to your body. Make sure that you are bending everything. What you'll find if you're really engaging yourself, especially the knees and thighs, when you turn, you're going to find yourself drifting down a little bit. Now I'm making it exaggerated as you come around, but you'll notice, let me change this just a little bit. If you watch my knees, I am bending some to let myself come around. If you're holding rigid, you're not going to be able to get very far, for one thing, and you're going to start really torquing your knees in a very negative way very quickly. So as you turn, make sure that you're sinking a little bit. You're letting your body twist into a natural sink, a natural turn that will be easier on everything. The other thing is the breathing, and this has always been a tricky one for me. As you're turning, of course, your torso is twisting some side to side, and that's going to compress your ribs down as your muscles start to get to their extension point. That's going to pull your ribs in a little bit, and that's, of course, going to compress your lungs. So this is one where breathing is very important. I have always had trouble as I twist. I will breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, and when I start getting too far, I'll stop breathing. I'll hold my breath, and it still happens occasionally. And I think it's just that compression. My lungs say, "Oh, that's it, we're done. Just hold it right here. Literally, hold your breath." And it is difficult to keep breathing in as you keep twisting, especially as you get used to this, especially as you get very limber. You get very far around, and your lung capacity is being really smushed down and limited by your rib cage. So it takes an extra effort to keep breathing in as you turn and turn and turn and turn. So as you go, just keep in mind, keep drawing that breath in, even if it's just little sips of air at the end. Try your best, to breathe in the entire time. And of course, the breath out is easy because you're releasing that pressure off your rib cage and off your lungs, and it just flows out. Try as you breathe out not to, it doesn't happen often, but that sudden release of pressure can make you kind of, So be aware that as you release, you want to, again, maintain a gentle hand on the wheel and breathe out as you come around. And of course, as you go back to the other side, same thing. Breathe in, keep it slow, keep it rhythmic, of course, as always. But as you get to that point where you're really starting to crunch down your ribs and press down on your lungs with your rib cage, try to keep drawing that breath in. Keep drawing it in. Draw into the belly. Draw deep, 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 deep. And then out. Nice and slow and comfortable. So, key things here. Be very aware of your joints. Be very aware of your back. Make sure that you're engaging all of your joints. As you turn, make sure your shoulders are coming around. Make sure your head is turning. The cervical vertebrae is an important part. Let that twist, let that roll, let everything turn very gently. Give it a little pressure. Don't go super hard. You're not trying to force yourself around. You're trying to go to your comfort level. So as you turn, just make sure everything, your knees, your ankles, your hips, of course your torso is going to twist and compress those ribs down. Make sure everything is bending slowly and comfortably. As long as that's happening, you're doing it right. Don't hold your breath. Don't lock your knees. Remember, as we said earlier, when you turn, you're going to kind of drop a little bit. Not a great deal. Again, I'm exaggerating a little bit here, but if you're going to drop as your knees twist and you drop down a little bit to keep the pressure off those knees. Protect your knees, your back and your knees. Oh, those are the problem areas, especially for me, but for all of us. Knee replacements are a very common thing. Knees, I've said before, are one of the worst engineered body parts in the human body. The design of the knee is so aggravating. So watch your knees, watch your back, watch those little signs of injury, little signs of, oh, no, too far. Be very aware of your breath, and let it be a nice, gentle twist fully around as far as you can. And like I say, again, push just a little bit, just a skosh, just enough to kind of engage that stretch. When you reach that limit where your body's like, okay, that's it, the muscles are starting to stretch, give it that little push, just a small one. Stretch those ligaments out, stretch the muscles out, let them relax. This one you've got to be relaxed through. You can't tense up or you will hurt yourself, as always. So relax through it, twist side to side. Let the simplicity be a joy, because the simplicity, as you know, as the form goes on, goes away, it gets more complex. This is a great time to relax and really find your center. While you're doing something that's in essence just warming up, let your mind warm up. Let your mind warm up to the idea of staying in your center, staying in your breath, staying in the mental image of a candle flame. Whatever you're focusing on to aid your exercise each time, focus there. This is your warm-up time. So focus on your breathing, focus on your movements, make sure everything is engaged, it's soft, it's relaxed, knees are relaxed. Mind your back, mind your cervical vertebrae if you have neck problems. Move through it slow. It is tremendous for back problems. I don't mind saying that over and over again because I am living proof. It is a great exercise for back issues. If you do nothing else for your Qi Gong every morning and you have back problems, do owl gazes backwards. It will make your back feel so much better over the long run. Again, it's not a magic bullet. It's not gonna have instant effects on you the first time you do it. But if you stay with it and you do it carefully and regularly and rhythmically and slowly, you'll find an amazing flexibility will come out of this. Y'all have seen me in class. There was no way when I was a young man I could twist that far around without hurting myself, without guaranteed injury. I simply couldn't do it. My ligaments weren't loose enough. My muscles weren't loose enough. My spine simply couldn't stand it. And over the years, I have found this amazing flexibility back and forth. And I dare say that it helps minimize my recovery time, my downtime, when I do hurt myself. I still hurt my back. It still happens. There's no escaping that. The discs are bulging. There's no way to fix that with holistic medicine, with exercise even. So I'm going to hurt my back. That's a given. But the frequency of injury is decreased, and the duration of injury is decreased, which for me is such a godsend. I mean, that's really tremendous. So stick with it, enjoy it, focus through it, use it as your warm-up meditation, and play your form every day or every chance you get. If it's twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, at least you're doing something. Any step forward is a step forward. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there for you. That is our deep dive into owl gazes backwards. Monday morning we'll resume at 8 a.m. with the full form, and then I think every Sunday we'll do a deep dive Sunday. Next Sunday, of course, will be draw, bow, shoot, tiger, which will probably be a long video. That's a pretty complicated piece, and is usually the one that people have the most trouble with, especially at the beginning, trying to get all the bits and things together. There's a lot going on. I've said before in class, it's a very Tai Chi movement. There's so much going on. So we'll look at that one next Sunday. Until then, I will see you Monday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time for the regular form, and we will proceed from there. Until then, enjoy this really, really nice pre-fall weather. Enjoy your Sunday. Be good to yourself. Don't forget your self-care. Be careful if you go in town. Be safe. Wear your mask. Do all the things. Distance. We'll get through this. And be well.